Welcome back. Eastern Shore Talk here with another episode. I'm Jay Watson,
I'm Kathy Castle.
and
I'm
we are
Liza.
on. Oh, I'm sorry, Liza.
That's all right. I'm the new guest, Liza Ledford.
And we are on episode 10 of Eastern Shore Talk. So, Liza, you're actually the first. You're a veteran guest. You're the first returning guest,
That's right.
and will be a regular returning guest, which we're very thankful for. So, what we're going to talk about today is our big topic is going to be music in movies, how impactful it is, some of the memorable musical moments in movies that we remember, and just kind of how music affects how we feel about movies, and not just movies, but streaming shows, the old school shows that had awesome theme songs, and all things music and movie mixed. But first of all, we're going to let Liza talk a little bit about what's going on with the Oxford Community Center and the Chesapeake Film Festival.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. It's a great, fun arena to be in. I'm blessed with a job down at the Oxford Community Center that we just try to do entertaining, enriching education opportunities and programs and events. So we're coming up on a 3 Saturday just whammy. We've got the Fine Arts Fair this weekend, 3 days of incredible juried artists just held hostage in Oxford for you to come visit and see. And that's always a really good time. It's a 40th anniversary of this
Wow.
3-day arts festival. So
Cool.
keeping the tradition going, born from the community, really exciting to have grown that to a thing where it's excellent artists from the Mid-Atlantic region, basically. And then the next weekend, Saturday, the 25th, we have an incredible jazz musician, and it's Hannah Gill. And Hannah Gill is from here. Her father's Robbie Gill from the YMCA of the Chesapeake.
Oh,
So it's really fun that she's having a homecoming because she has been world traveled. She is incredible. Her voice is ridiculous. It's just, she doesn't even know what to do with it. It's like she just can't believe. I mean, it's so good. And so she goes everywhere with her jazz musicians. And check her out right now. She's playing on WHCP, her interview about coming home, her homecoming.
cool.
So
I
that's
didn't realize that she was Robbie's daughter. That's pretty cool. That's a fun
Isn't that
fact.
neat?
Yeah,
You know,
and
I
she's
just
played
learned.
before, right? She's played
Not
locally.
with us. I think she's played at the Avalon.
Maybe
Probably.
that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That name's familiar. When you said
Yeah.
the name, it's true. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
It's cute
exciting.
because she's doing an interview with WCEI as well, Matt Spence, because when she was younger, she won like a little talent contest that they did. And they were showing video clips of her doing her talent show back in the day. And it's just so sweet to see how much talent has come from these areas and how lucky we are that they do come home and play for us.
Yeah.
And we're excited. That is May 25th. And then
Awesome.
Saturday, the next has 3 consecutive Saturdays, is June 1st. And that is one night in Old Havana. And we are transforming the entire building into 1950s Havana, Cuba. And you're going to just feel like you are somewhere else. Tropical plants are being brought in, furniture, unbelievable transformation. So definitely, if you're in the mood for some salsa dancing, great food catered by the Ivy, music.
Oh,
So
wow.
we contracted with the factory. You know, CC Storm probably. She does Stage Fright at the Avalon on the Halloween times. She's been someone we've worked with forever with through the Avalon. And she started this company, has a whole board of directors, and they're doing event specific support. And
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Casey Rao too is part of that.
Casey Rao is part of that. And again, he just did an interview with WHCP in character.
He did.
He's playing the host of the jazz cabana that you will be attending down at Oxford in the transformation. He's the host.
Their
So
family's so fun. I love the Rao family. They're
Oh my
all
gosh.
fun.
So much fun.
Wow.
So yeah, those are 3 crazy different things, really different vibes, but exceptionally sort of overproduced, if you will, almost, and worth, trying out. So Oxford's really trying to do different things and bring in different audiences and just, provide some fun for the community.
Oh, yeah.
How lucky are we to have just such choice in a smaller community. There's a lot of arts, and entertainment in our area, which is
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
lucky. We're lucky to have that.
I don't know how anybody chooses. Like, I always am going to Oxford because I'm producing the events. But
Right.
when I look at the Facebook or any of the event sites and all of the choices, you're absolutely right. I mean, we are so lucky in Talbot County, Dorchester, like all around. I mean, there are so many amazing things to do. Very, very lucky.
A
And I'm
lot of
always amazed at sorry, Jay, I don't mean to talk over you, but I'm always amazed at people like yourself too, like Casey, Cece, all of them. They have their own day jobs and families, yet they're giving, for the community to be entertained. And I
Yeah.
did one single play, and I was like, oh, I mean, it just takes so much of your time and your energy. So
Kathy, do you remember our Santa Diaries?
yes,
My whole family was with your whole
yes,
family on that, and Casey, and it's almost like a
you're
reunion of that group. Isn't
I
that
know.
funny? You'll have to support your old alumni down here
Your
at the
sweet
show.
little daughter. She's so cute.
That's a pretty awesome thing you guys have going on down there, Liza. It's not only just uh, having entertainment for the community, but you're providing self care if you really think about it.
Mhm.
Um, and Each
It's
short talk's
true.
all about self care, so
Yep,
that's
we
some
do
that's
talk
some cool
about.
stuff. I'm going to try to get down there for the Havana night. That
Oh,
sounds really awesome. Um, so, what about the Chesapeake Film Festival? What are the
yeah.
dates of that, and what?
So that is really, really special. It is. Let me pick it out here. My little thing. I've got all my little clicks here. It is the 27th through the 29th, and it has
Um,
some special events. Did I
of
go away
May?
from?
Is it of May? It's in May.
No, September. Sorry
Hmm.
Oh,
about that.
September.
Trying to
Okay.
pull these up. I don't know if I lost you. It's
No, you're
September
good.
27 to 29, and it's at Ebenezer Theater. And there's a couple special little screenings before that. August 15th at the Academy Art Museum, they're playing Wyeth. And that's a really amazing movie, and a family member will be there for that as well. And then September 12th at Garfield Center in Chestertown is a whole
Mm.
environmental series, which is a new thing to be back in Chestertown. They were in Chestertown maybe in 2010 Chesapeake Film Festival version. It's in its 17th year.
Hmm.
And then at the library, Talbot County Library, September 29th, there's this art of storytelling panel, which is going to be really interactive and amazing. So that is something not to miss if you want to get some behind the scenes skill set. And then, oh gosh, I've lost you guys. And so September 29th has that. And everything, like I said, is at Ebenezer, 17th year. If you get your tickets before July 15th, they have a discount for you for a pass for all of those opportunities.
And where
So
is the Ebenezer Theater?
Ebenezer is the new, you remember the old Historic Society
Yep.
had an auditorium right there up on the
Yep.
second level.
Uh-huh.
They bought that out and made
Okay.
it top notch with all of the best bells and whistles of technology. And it's a
Cool.
beautiful screen and place to watch these films. Really keeps a boutique environment
Mm-hmm.
and interactive for audiences. And all the filmmakers come in, and it's going to be really, really special.
I watched an improv troupe there a few years ago. Came in, and it was really a lot of fun. Yeah.
I could see that.
So, if people were to buy tickets to any of these events, where should they go, Liza?
Just go to ChesapeakeFilmFestival.com. All of the tickets will be on there. All of the passes are there. The schedule is there. Special, panels will all be listed. ChesapeakeFilmFestival.com. Everything up to date, because I'm clearly always going there myself just to remind myself what the schedule is. And you can see all of it there.
And how about for for the community center?
Yeah.
How did it? Yeah.
That's oxfordcc.org, and at oxfordcc.org is definitely the place to go, because we're always throwing stuff onto that website and then not always getting it out into all everywhere else. So that's the one site that will be up to date with all the upcoming dinner nights and dinner and a movie and all the programs that come in between, even the big Saturday night events. So that's where to go.
So do you always have a certain caterer, the same caterer? Or
Nope,
do you
there's a different one. Like for the Fine Arts Festival, we have the Robert Morris Inn. They have the new restaurant called the Financier. So they're going to come and cater our big preview gala evening, which is this Friday, the 17th. And then on the Ivy is the Havana night. And then we're having just bubbly and desserts for the VIP ticket of the Hannah Gill evening. There's a special ticket for the meet and greet of of Hannah Gill after her show. And that's actually already sold out, but that's a
Wow.
dessert and bubbly. But yeah,
Nice.
so different things.
And I can speak very highly for the food at the Ivy. They've got amazing stuff. It's a little bit different, but it's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
She's so great with all her ingredients and
little twists on
fresh.
kind of traditional dishes, but she puts a little twist on it. It's so good.
I agree.
And good sized portions too.
Yes. Totally.
Nice.
So before we get into the whole music and movies thing, Liza, what we're going to have you do every time you come on is give us a little Hollywood insider scoop story, something fun or interesting or something memorable from your time working in Hollywood.
Okay. So I've been thinking about that because it's so hard to decide what to say. Most of the stuff is just, you being running around on the set and just doing the best you can and the moment's notice of little things. But I was going to stick with my best friend's wedding this time and kind of keep it with the music theme. And it's become quite famous for two certain songs out of that. I mean, it has a great soundtrack, great. James Newton Howard did the score. And that's part of my story, which was my favorite part of being in that movie, really honestly, was that the movie was cut and we're in the editing room and the whole movie was up on the screen. And I might have even mentioned this last time when we talked, and the full orchestra is playing the score to the movie. And that's when you realize the layer of emotion that comes when the music is added to the films. So amazing. There's a time in that film where she's about to kiss him and might kiss him and might kiss him, and they're on this boat going over the bridge. The music is swelling. It's all just so built in and so incredible. So
and she didn't.
That was it. Oh, that was a big moment to decide the fate of that film. Like, it was for her to be okay letting him go, and that's a huge thing I think we all deal with in life, like relationships, letting someone go. You have to redefine yourself. Like, that's a thing. Like, talk about mental health. That was one of her big moments in the film as a character. But then the other thing I love about that film is the opening credit sequence. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Where they're dancing?
Yes. It is worth YouTube Googling it or whatever it is.
It's like a pink screen, right?
Yep.
And they're dancing.
Yep.
I am really obsessed with that movie.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm going to let you tell us what your favorite parts are in that too, because that will be fun. If you have any questions about like a behind the scenes moment or what, something that you remember the most, we'll definitely answer any questions too, which could be fun. But that opening credit sequence was a last minute decision by the director, PJ Hogan. And we had filmed the movie already. We were all back in Los Angeles. And usually you just do your opening credits. It's not like a big thing. Well, he was absolutely in his mind, had this music video in his head and this song in his head. And it was Wishing and Hoping.
Yeah.
It was amazing. He wanted it to set the tone. He felt if we didn't do something different and set the tone, the rest of the whole movie would not quite be set up the way he wanted it. It was very important to him. And so we had to come up with a whole new budget. We cast the movie. I mean, shot it like a music video. We had to rent out a sound stage, cast it. We had to have the people in that video are singer dancers. So it was really hard to go out and get singer dancers, but they came in, they auditioned. It was choreographed by Tony Basil, who did So like choreographed, I mean, it was a huge production. Nobody understood, like, really, do we have to do it? Is it going to make that much of a difference? But it was something so important to him. And we shot that whole thing, music video. The best part about it was we had Bonnie Greenberg was our sound person, and our music composer, I think is the name of it. Not composer, but anyway, she was responsible for all the clearances and the music, that the songs that are added into the soundtrack. She was so important, but we wanted that to be done by somebody different. It's a Burt Bacharach song, and we wanted it to be modernized, or PJ especially. So he had her search for who should really sing that song differently. And it was Annie DeFranco, which was also really unusual at the time to have her do her own rendition of the song. She was one of the most cutting edge new musicians at the time who had her own label. Like, she would not sign with other people. So getting her onto that was hard because it was a Sony movie that had a Sony soundtrack deal. So there's all those pieces that have to come together. And he was breaking like 10 rules in making just that opening credit sequence. So when you go back and watch that, hopefully you enjoy it as almost a standalone, but definitely to set the tone for the film.
Well, I'll give you this feedback. So my kids, we're movie people. We love movies and we love streaming, and we have every streaming service possible, I think. Mm-hmm. Which hopefully they'll appreciate me when they're gone. Out of here, out of the house. So we went to this rom-com phase, I don't know, last summer, maybe fall, whatever it was, and that was one of them, because we love what is the male? I always say his name wrong. Dylan.
We lost you, Kath.
Did you lose me again? Am I back?
Dermot Mulroney?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah, we had audio, we just lost you visually.
Anyway, we like him a lot. So we were following some of his movies. And when it first came on, my kids are like, Mom, is this the way they did everything in the 80s? What is this? What is this? So they definitely noticed that intro was different. And I can't wait to now tell them that was on purpose, like a video. I guess I never really thought about it. It was just part of the movie. I never really thought that it was different than other movies. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is part of the movie.
Yeah,
because
totally.
It goes into that dinner where they're all sitting around, and it just.
But if you think about it, most movies use the characters in the movie, and the credits are rolling over. Like, they either are setting, they're already starting the movie with the credits.
The scene, it's you're looking at some street.
Yeah. Yep. And this was completely different people. Like, they never show back up. I mean, you never see, they're not at all in it. It just was a tone to set it up. I can't wait to tell my kids that.
Yeah. That scene you were talking about, Kathy, when they're eating and they start singing at the table. Yeah. That's the scene that like stands out to me. That's what I think of when I think of that movie. Is that song.
You are not alone. It's I Say a Little Prayer for You. There's another little story behind this. I don't know if I told you this last time either, but that was my third part I wanted to tell you about in this today's conversation. That was another one of PJ's brainchild that we really pushed the envelope with. He wrote that scene where they break into song the day before, and I literally, as his assistant on that film, had to go put the notes, like the script pages, under their hotel room doors in the middle of the night. And they had to wake up ready to sing this.
Right.
And the reason it was so important was it wasn't approved by the studio. And you're not allowed to usually roll film for unapproved pages.
Right.
And he was like,
you guys were naughty on that film.
Rebels.
We really were. This is like going to get me in so much trouble, but it really, really was so funny. And even so, I mean, I'm on the phone the whole time, like blocking the people calling and shutting it down. And he's just rolling, getting that scene done. Everyone was all excited and engaged in it. And then we had to wait. That scene was not approved to be in the final edit until after they showed it to those test markets. They show the director's cut
Right.
to random theaters, and then they get sort of re-edited after, depending on who loves what. Every single person in the entire movie theaters across, when they did the test screening, said that was their favorite scene.
Yeah.
So PJ was like, I can finally exhale. Like, my favorite scene gets to stay in the movie. But
Yeah.
it was totally done backwards. And it was
Well,
so.
what's funny about that scene, I think, is you can imagine like awkward family dinners like that where you're like, all right, what are the who's gonna say what and when is this over? And then that's when you really, her friend that shows up to pretend he's the boyfriend, that's when he really gets to show off, and you're just falling in love with that character right there. And then you realize how naive, I guess, in a way, that Cameron Diaz is. There's a lot of things that emerge at that table.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Thank God for Rupert Everett. Like, he came in and was such a great, refreshing energy. And that friendship became so important that it was satisfying enough at the end for her to just sort of get his big hug. Because we reshot that ending a lot of times. Also, there was different endings for that film, for sure. And it ended up that Rupert was the right
He saved the
ending.
day. He wasn't he's the only reason that I like can live that they didn't kiss under that bridge. He's the only single reason.
That's so good.
Now, was that scene, was that the rehearsal dinner? Was that what that scene was supposed to be?
Or was that the family meeting? Or was that the meeting?
I think it was the rehearsal dinner.
Because I think it was like people were like strangers, because it was kind of different people. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the sisters, those twins.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be twins. Yes. That was fun. So those are, I guess, today's little behind the scenes music related.
Now I'm gonna watch that again.
Oh yeah, we'll see it differently, Kathy. Now that we kind of, we'll be like, oh yeah, now I see that.
Yeah, so good.
So speaking of soundtracks, Liza, here's a question for you. Are soundtracks even like a thing, or are they just kind of not really a thing because music is not like absorbed the same way it used to be? Because Kathy and I were talking the other day about soundtracks back in the like 80s and 90s. Were like they were some of your best selling albums or records those years were soundtracks. And we don't is it because of how music is these days, or is it just because movies have kind of evolved away from that? Are there even soundtracks anymore?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure I'm current enough to know the full answer. It's changed so much. But I remember agreeing. I would have to buy my albums. The soundtracks were so amazing. They would bring you back to all the emotional beats of the movie every time, But then, and when we were making deals back in the day, you had to make your soundtrack deal. And obviously, usually that's why a studio would have a soundtrack side. They were revenue partnerships together. And oftentimes you'd be forced with a lot of music you weren't, the director, let's say, at least, wasn't really wanting. And that was kind of hard. You had deals. You had to put certain artists in your movie if you had a soundtrack deal. And a lot of times those end up in the end credit sequence, just case where they feel like they have to be in the soundtrack technically, but they can move you off. The director can still push it away from a scene if they don't agree with the soundtrack matching the scene energy that they want. But those were like constant battles. Yeah. What song at what scene, what artist was going to make the soundtrack. Those were big deals at the time. But nowadays, with the way music gets rolled out a lot more independently, I don't think they rely as much on being part of those traditional deals. So I don't really know if people have to buy them or are buying them.
If I remember properly, I think A Star Is Born, there was a traditional, but it was a musical movie. So that might be why that was the case. Because Kathy and I were talking about this last week.
Yeah.
Now every movie has a score. Like there's always music in the background. It is kind of the foundation of the sound of a movie. But I was just, I just got to thinking the other day, are soundtracks in a non-musical movie way, are they still a thing? And maybe
I
that's
think
something.
there's still like a breakout spot too. Like if you're an up and coming artist, you get to submit
Yeah,
your songs. Like some of our people will just submit songs into the music director, and it's someone from nowhere that's just been aware of this film and wrote something original for something they've heard about, and they'll send it in. And sometimes those things get placed in, and it's like a wonderful way to become known for new people, which is still happening
yeah,
sometimes. It's a
That's
vehicle, I would
interesting.
say.
It's very interesting. I
Yeah.
feel like back in music is so different obviously now, and I guess how performers make their money. But I feel like for us, when we were younger, that one, the soundtrack was it connected you to the movie.
yeah,
You could and two, that's how we got our mixtapes. You
yeah.
got our original mix was a soundtrack. Where you didn't have to buy the whole thing. That's
Yes.
that's my feeling about it about it then. I feel differently about the soundtracks now. Jay and I talked a little bit about that last week, but
And it
I
seems like they promoted for each other. The soundtrack helped sell the movie, and the movie helped sell the soundtrack. So they were kind of
Definitely.
cross promotional. They were kind of
Yes.
partners that way.
Yep.
Not that they're
100%.
not that they're
That's
well,
what
on.
it
told him,
matters.
I told Jay, I said I feel like you, and maybe you feel the same way. At some point in time when our children were, I don't know, still littles but not babies, I felt like the movie industry started to get really clever, and instead of, oh, maybe grandma or babysitter's going to take so and so to the movies, if they pair it with some really Gen X music, then we're going to go, if not even more than the kid, and see this. Because I can
That's true.
remember vividly sitting in an Annapolis movie theater with the first Guardians, and I had no idea about the soundtrack.
Yeah,
And I'm like, wait, what?
yeah,
And it was just song after song after song. And I'm like, I want to find this before I leave this
yeah.
movie thing. I need this soundtrack.
Yeah.
In I need some kind of download on YouTube Music or whatever. And
Yeah.
then now I've bought the vinyl for all those.
Yes, that's so good you did. I 100% agree. They started catering to both audiences for all kids movies, I
Right?
think, in the middle genre. Yes, because the parents are taking the kids, and the goal is always, of course, to get repeat business. So if
Yeah.
the parents realize, oh my gosh, I love that movie, then they might go back again, or they'll, buy it or download it or do
Right.
one extra thing for it. And definitely calculated and smart.
You
And
see a lot
refreshing.
of yeah.
Refreshing.
Yeah, me too.
You
That's
see a lot of
happening.
music now is kind of like you were talking about earlier, Liza, with opening and closing credits. You'll see what becomes quote unquote the theme song to that movie will be. And it's funny. I was telling Kathy, there's a movie I just watched on Amazon, the Anne Hathaway movie, The Idea of You,
Still
and
have,
I gotta watch that.
yeah.
it's awesome because there's an Easton connection. The opening and closing credit scenes is Maggie Rogers. Light On is the opening and closing credits
Oh
music.
my
And I didn't know that going in. I had not seen when they obviously they don't show that when they show the trailer. Good
Yeah,
movie, but really great opening. It's Easton Connection makes it even better.
I love that.
But there's also a scene in the middle of the movie where they're in a hotel and he the male lead is uh, a male pop group member and he's trying to write music. So he's going back to 80s music to get inspiration. And he's playing this, I won't give it away, but he's playing this popular 80s song. And the two of them play out the video in this little playful moment in the hotel while they're doing that. So it was some neat, really some cool musical moments in that movie as well.
Oh,
I'll tell you another group of movies that music just hits hard. All right, you ready? Think about an opening movie, and it's just instrumental, and it's Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you hear
that's John Williams right there. Yeah,
like three notes, and you're like, there it is, right? It's so powerful.
oh my gosh. those like that and Jaws or Halloween, like those just are so powerful and memorable and specific.
And then I wonder, is it us? Is it our generation? Is it Gen X? Or do, the kids feel that way too? I don't know. But we're definitely, I think our generation you can hear like just a few chords, and you're like, and we can spit it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
In contests.
And for us, Kathy, because we have an emotional connection to that song already, that helps us connect with the movie in that scene or in the credits or whatever. So it makes me wonder, maybe if Tristan's on again, we'll ask him, like, do you really even pay attention to music in movies like we did?
Yeah, we need to. I need to like phone a friend. I need to bring one in.
Yes, that'll be fun next time. You're right. What's the movie that song?
Like we'll ask him about Stranger Things, because there's some awesome music in Stranger Things. And that was one of the things I wanted to like.
Yes,
that song, Running Up That Hill, like.
Yeah, but I didn't remember it from back then.
I didn't really very much. They said it went to number one because of Stranger Things, and it was released in, I think it's in '84. But it was the longest time gap between releasing an original song and that song going to number one. It was like 40 some years.
Oh, yeah.
Not a cover, but the original version. And I went back and listened. I go back because I'm such a fan of that whole show. I go back and watch those scenes with that song, and what they do really cool is they mix that song with the score, and they're kind of layered together, and it starts out with the song, and it kind of fades out, and the score takes over as if it's all part of the same song, but it's actually two different things. Like the music is huge in that whole series of that.
It is. They did that so well. I so agree with you on that.
And Journey, they did a little clip with Journey in Separate Ways.
That's the best version of that song.
Whoever was the musical director for that, like, could not have picked better songs for those scenes and for the feeling of what that show's about. It just
didn't that leave us on a cliffhanger. Did that song leave us that season on a cliff? I can't remember.
I don't know if there was music playing at the very last scene. I can't remember.
Or was that introducing the last season we just saw? That song, I can't remember. But it was
actually the end of the season 3 final episode. They were about to start the fight, or was it the last?
I know, it's on one of those.
It's where they split up and they go into their 3 different areas to fight the evil in these. Well, 2, because the third group is over in Russia, but the 2 groups of kids split up. They're in the camper and they're driving, and it's Separate Ways is playing. And they drop one group off at the Haunted Mansion, and the other group goes to wherever they go. And that ends that episode. I can't remember if that must be the next to last episode of the last season we saw, because then they do battle with Vecna in the last episode. So, but they use that as kind of the, not really technically end credits, but like as the hook. They're like, oh, to get you in the feels, to be like, oh, I can't wait for that next episode.
All right, I got Tristan.
Oh.
Yeah, we're live. Yes. Hey, Tristan said, are you live? All right, we have a movie question.
What's up?
Pop your head
in. Oh, man, I just woke up from
He just woke up. I don't want to move this, so...
Yeah, I mean, I can just...
If I move I might blur us.
So we can hear him.
Pop your head in. We're talking about movies.
Okay.
And how we're very affected by the music of movies.
Yeah.
Like, think about Separate Ways in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
What else are we talking? Like Star Wars, that movie. But we're very connected to the music and what, because we remember these songs.
Right.
And we're just wondering if your generation, it really the music in a movie really has that impact.
Oh man. I think
not to put you on the spot. To put you on the spot.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the soundtracks that I always think about are the 80s, 90s movies, though. You know what I mean? Like when
Is there anyone that stands out?
Pop in. Here, you be the guest.
It's just
for a second. Pop in. I'm making it. Go. Pop in. You're more exciting.
Hi, Tristan.
What's up, Tristan?
Hey.
I just woke up, but
So So, is there any soundtracks that kind of like stick out to you, even if they're like 80s or 90s, that you're like,
I
oh, that's
know.
pretty cool?
I'm trying to think now that I'm on the spot.
Even any of the Disney, I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Favorite songs.
Rocky, the Rockies.
Oh well, the Rockies more instrumental. Like you could hear the instrumental music and know what it's from. Same thing with like Moneyball. That Moneyball instrumental.
Yeah.
Jay would probably know that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The baseball movie.
Yep.
All the Guardians.
Yeah.
Tristan,
Well,
did you see Ready Player One?
No.
Kathy, that's another one. That's a Spielberg movie. Liza knows all about that one. It's and it's not, you would not look at it as a typical Steven Spielberg type movie, but it's got fantastic 80s music in it. Like the whole movie has this music in the background. It's fantastic. But it's a video game kind of movie. It's like,
it's for us. You guys can download anything you want at any time. Like, think about it. We didn't have any streaming or downloading, so we'd go buy a tape that had the
soundtrack. Yeah, when soundtracks were actually bought at the store. Yeah.
What about Greatest Showman?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Really good one. Yeah.
I mean, that one's more of kind of like a musical.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's impactful. That music is so impactful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch 8 Mile?
Yeah.
Was that one of the first?
That's an Oscar-winning song right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Eminem's like probably the best rapper of all time. So
yeah, I'm an Eminem fan myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you like to see the music move you in the story, or we'd all love that song regardless, but having it be used in the movie, did that moment just work because of that song for you?
Yeah. I mean, I think, and with his music too, it's just kind of the same way. You almost know the instrumental before he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And like a ton of you can just feel your head going.
It's hype. It's a hype song. Yeah.
When you pick a hype song for yourself, when you're walking out on the baseball field or you're going into something, like when you're doing your own soundtrack for life, do you have one that usually comes from a film, so you're visualizing a moment, or is it the music alone is good enough? Like,
I think a lot of people now, they have these sounds that come from TikTok. So TikTok takes music and they make these really like short clips from movies or songs, and they'll make these edits to it. So, and I've seen a ton of people like where it won't even be necessarily songs, but it'll be kind of like clips from a movie that they'll kind of turn into like
the walk-up song,
the sound or the walk-up song that's used for whatever the video is. So like I would see a lot of like Anakin Skywalker stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
I'm your father.
Yeah. Well, you used one from Here Comes the Boom, right?
Yeah, that was, what was that, Neil Diamond?
Tristan used Holly Holy. Was that
Yeah, it went platinum in '69.
I love it.
Yeah.
69, man. 10 years old.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but Les was telling us about how important, it is for the music and the movie together. It's almost like they're a partnership.
Yeah.
Or, they're contracting out.
Yeah.
For that part of the movie and how important it is.
Yeah. I think of the movies as a place to discover new music too. It's like an open avenue to get somebody's new music heard, which is nice, I think, sometimes.
Did you watch My Best Friend's Wedding with us? Oh, you're killing me. Dylan did.
Kill me, Smalls.
I know.
She did that movie.
Still. Really? Well, you watched it up here, right?
I watch it everywhere.
She watches it on her phone at work.
Yeah, that's Dylan's movie. That's Dylan.
Yeah.
That's fun. What are your favorite movies, Tristan?
Oh, I mean, I do like those Rocky movies, like we talked about. And there's one on Netflix right now that I really like. It's called Patriots Day, the Wahlberg film.
Oh yeah,
yep.
That's like one of my favorites right now. It's not even that I'm into like necessarily real serious movies, but I like shows or movies that kind of go into like the problem solving aspect of things. So like that one, they kind of take that, they kind of go into like the investigation of it, and they use like real clips from actually how they caught those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the marathon bombers.
Yeah.
I'm changing out guest stars.
All right.
I'm changing out guest stars.
Great.
Hold on.
I'm having that.
Thank you,
Thanks, Tristan.
You.
Where are
Okay.
you going?
Oh.
So, Liza, what are some of the like musical?
Jay, Jay.
Yep.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
New guest. All right. What you need to say to them is what you thought of my best friend's wedding. That's
My
her.
best friend's wedding. It's like one of my favorite movies now. I saw it for the first time like in the summer, I think, and it's just the greatest thing ever.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. What
This
was
is a 17-year-old giving you that feedback.
You know, it's a good rom-com. I love a rom-com, surprisingly. I
Yeah.
don't
That's
know
not
why.
surprising.
I don't know where that trait comes from, having 3 brothers, but I love them.
Your mom, she just
Yeah.
so powerful enough in her rom-com
Do
fandom.
you remember the beginning of the movie where they're dancing?
It's kind of.
It's like a
in
pink
minute.
screen.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
intro.
yeah, yeah.
She says they did it after the movie, like a music video.
Really?
The director wanted something very different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a good move. I enjoyed the beginning. It was very
But if you
good.
think about it, that's not how movies start.
No, it's
What
definitely.
she's saying, the director wanted a different.
He had this
I-
vision in his mind about a music video that kind of went along with the theme of the movie, and he just said, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
And she said the
differentiate.
dinner scene too was a late entry.
Dinner scene's
Yeah.
phenomenal. You know a
That's,
movie's
that's
good.
iconic. Yeah.
You know a movie's gonna be good when it has a dinner scene. There's not many
Oh.
bad dinner scenes.
and crazy '80s clothes.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
thing.
But I
Yeah.
said we love our guy.
Oh, Dermot Mulroney.
We love him.
That's my guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's literally my guy. Favorite actor now. He killed it. He really crushed it.
Oh,
Gotta love
that's
the guy.
good. He's so nice.
How do you not like that guy and support that guy? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just want what's
Just
best
pull
for
for
him.
him.
Yes.
So I
Well,
think Dylan come to our our movie screening where Liza tells all the secrets.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
holding
I'm
the
there.
thing back. I'm resisting right now to tell a funny one about Dermot, but I'm holding back. I have something to tell you next time.
Dylan, she was telling us last time we talked about how Julia Roberts and Cameron Diaz were kind of getting on each other a little bit during filming.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. You know, Cameron Diaz is a little young in that movie. I'm sure she's a little fiery. You know what I mean?
Trying to find her way.
Yeah.
The karaoke
was-
She
scene.
really could sing. Could not.
She
She
can't
was-
sing.
So sweet. No, and she couldn't sing, and she was so like frustrated by having to be raw and bad at that moment. And it was so vulnerable and sweet, and it worked perfect for the film. But
I
she
thought it
was
was pretty
so
funny.
nervous.
Yeah, she killed it too. She did great. I think that's what makes the movie good for me. It's like everyone I think knocked it out of the park.
But I said I was mad they didn't kiss under the bridge, but I got over it because her friend came in at the end. It was there for her.
Yeah, that guy's good too. I forgot
The,
about him.
the casting was great for that movie, Liza.
That was
It really
fun.
was.
That was so fun. I did get to watch all those audition tapes and be in the room with all of that, and it was really cool.
It's a good.
I think she had a little pretty woman to her too, Julia.
Yeah.
I felt like she brought that character a bit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, wasn't she in that?
Yeah.
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 She
Yeah.
did. I think she did. She had the big smile. It takes a lot. We have to like literally beg her sometimes to give that big pretty woman smile and laugh. She
It
holds
is a
it.
big-
She knows
Yeah,
that's her goal.
That laugh, that scene where she closes the necklace case on her was accidental. Like that wasn't supposed to be that. That it was just
Right.
she just
Yeah,
laughed.
like-
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. He got her to laugh he was perfect with her. They had the
Yeah.
best chemistry. She was, it was tough for the other ones because the movie is about her being an outsider to this situation and not knowing if she wants to be like fully a horrible person or sort of like, still a best friend. And it was constant battle. So she needed an ally
Yeah.
on the set and in the story. So it was cute.
Cool.
It was tough though.
Dylan's a movie buff.
Oh me, yeah. I watch a lot of movies.
Oh, good. What are
Yeah.
some of your favorite ones?
Well, my all-time favorite movie is probably Back to the Future.
Ah.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
That's just like I think.
You're like an '80s, like you have like the soul
Dude,
of
I
an
like
80s.
a lot.
You're an
Yeah,
old soul.
obviously Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all those like. I mean,
Oh,
it's just.
I
yeah.
love this kid.
But Star Wars is probably my number one. I'm a big Star Wars.
yes.
But
What do you
Back
think
to
of
the
the new
Future's the one.
ones?
The like new Star Wars.
Yeah, do you like that
Um,
direction they went with all that, or no?
it's not my favorite. I don't know. I think that there's a lot that happened. I think the first, like the Force Awakens, the newest or the oldest of
Of the
the
new,
new
yeah.
one was it
Yeah.
was fine. You know, kind of like just introducing all those characters. I think it had some potential. And then the next one kind of lost me a little bit. They did some stuff where I wasn't too crazy. I
Yeah.
thought the
They jumped the
Kylo
shark.
yeah, I thought Kylo Ren's character wasn't could have been better. I
Yeah.
thought yeah, that's my only thing I think is
He was no Darth Vader.
that character had a lot going for him and they kind of wrote him in the wrong direction. And then it didn't help that the director of the first one didn't return for the second one, and then he had to come back for the third one and kind of fix
Yeah.
what the other guy did, and then
Look at Mr. Movie
and
Industry.
have to
Yeah, this is so
tell his
good that
story.
you would even notice all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that went wrong behind the scenes there,
Mhm.
but I mean it's Star Wars, so I
Now,
don't hate.
Dylan, who was it? Was it J.J. Abrams? Was he involved?
Yeah, Abrams directed the first and the third one,
Okay.
and then they had another guy do the second. I don't know who. I don't remember his name, but I
I
know
don't
he
either.
did. He did Glass Onion recently. I don't know his name.
Oh,
Oh, he's working.
which Glass Onions? Both the Glass Onions are actually good. I like both of them.
Those are very good movies. Yeah, yeah, those are really good. But yeah, I think Star Wars is in a weird state right now, especially with now like all the TV shows. I don't know.
Mhm.
They're kind of like
Yeah, I couldn't do the Mandalorian. I couldn't connect to a guy in a helmet. It just I didn't.
Oh, crushing.
I do like Ahsoka a lot. I
yeah,
like
she's
that
a
one a
good
lot.
character.
Yeah,
There's a lot of her stuff in the Clone Wars too, and
yeah.
the animated show that's really good. And
Mhm.
yeah, she's a good character. But I'm a Mandalorian guy. I think the Book of Boba Fett wasn't very good.
No,
Mhm.
Obi-Wan Kenobi could have been better, but I'm a big Anakin guy, so seeing him back kind of like
yeah.
was pretty good for me. So
That's Mason was a big Anakin guy.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
think
those are
there's
my
any
favorite.
new series that are coming out? Like sometimes they equate the new Dunes to maybe getting a new audience of following in a big magnitude. Do you watch those at all?
No, I haven't seen either of them. I mean, I know that they're like, I mean, I know what it is. I know they're huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Second one's better.
Timothy
Yeah.
Chalamet and Zendaya and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I haven't seen them. I don't know. I want to. I just haven't really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Are there any sequels that you're waiting for?
Is there any movies I'm waiting for?
Yeah, like sequels that you were waiting for.
Yeah. That's a big question.
Because sometimes I feel like they wait too long and you almost forget how much you loved a character, and there's a balance between hurrying up and getting you what you're waiting for.
Yeah, I feel like recently there's been a lot of that. I think the one
Writer's
I'm most
strike. Yeah, did that. Yeah.
the one I'm most excited for is Deadpool 3. I think that's gonna be
Deadpool, Wolverine.
yeah. I think that movie
the
is
Wolverine
so
for
funny
sure.
and
I saw the first trailer for the first time just the other day, and it was really good.
yeah, and I just hope it kind of can. Not that Marvel's been bad, but I kind of hope.
It's been bad.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say it, but it's been pretty average. So I'm hoping that'll put it back kind of to where it has been.
But I think part of that, Dylan, is that they raised the bar so high with that whole two-part Avengers thing and how they took all these individual stories and brought them together for one big story, which was genius. That the bar was so high. Now, I did like Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man. I really liked a lot. Bringing back the other Spider-Mans in the multiverse kind of way was great. But yeah, they haven't been like they haven't sucked, but they just didn't live up to the standard that Marvel kind of. They were kind of their own worst enemy, and how great that whole Avengers, how they crafted that was absolutely perfect. And I'm not a comic book guy. I've never seen a comic book in my life, but got so wrapped up in that good versus evil, that general story, and how there was a little piece of in each of the series of individual movies that you kind of needed to watch those for the big picture, the Avengers when they come. It was perfectly done.
I mean, I think that would help Marvel too. Is I mean, their casting was just unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Just getting Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man is just. I think that might be the best casting ever. or
To
up
me,
there.
the world went wrong when Iron Man died in 2019. That's when we
I
lost.
love Iron Man. I agree completely.
Dylan, let me ask this. So,
Okay.
you being a junior in high school,
Yeah.
where do you think the role is of the actual theater versus streaming? You think people your age still like to go to the movies, or do you think people prefer streaming?
I mean, I think streaming's definitely taken the what's preferred. I mean, there's just so much content that's on streaming services. You see, on Netflix, like the top shows watched are like The Office and Suits and all that. Like those shows came out 10 plus years ago, and there's all these kids now on Netflix, and they have a completely new audience and a new fan base. So a lot of those streaming services, I think, are kind of taking over
Did
just
you
because.
still like the theater?
I just went today, yeah. So, I mean, I'm a theater guy. I think
You got to support the theaters.
yeah, I think there's something special about going to the movie theater and
It's an
seeing it.
event.
And,
It's an event to go. Yeah.
yeah, I
What do
think
you think about how movies are getting longer? And maybe is that because they need to feel like an event to be in the theater, that they're all 2 hours, something or other?
yeah, I'm not. I mean, I have kind of a short attention span. I'm not really
Mhm.
like
Well,
there's
you're
a couple.
17, so
Yeah, yeah. Like the Marvel and Star Wars, I'll make exceptions because it's so like.
they didn't feel like they were 3 hours though.
Yeah, they go by fast. Like
Yeah.
Endgame or whatever, like that was like,
What
a
happened?
blink of an eye. I was just like, it all came so fast. But
Yeah.
there's some movies, yeah, like that are just, I feel like they're dragged along. Like I guess
Challengers was like that.
the biggest example I have was the Avatar movies.
Mhm.
The most recent one. I mean, that was just hard to get through because it's just.
Now, what did you see today?
I saw Planet of the Apes, the
It's
new
the
one.
best one of the franchise. This is the best one of this version
I'm
of the
gonna be
franchise. I
honest
think.
here. I'm gonna be honest. I hadn't seen any of the other ones.
Okay.
So I went in here just like to do something, just to see a movie, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like kind of like the character. I know like Caesar, and I know that backstory, but
Right.
like, I hadn't seen any of them. But I thought I didn't feel like I had to watch the other ones to enjoy this one.
No, because they did a good job of explaining the Caesar thing within the scope of the movie. So
Yeah,
and it was, although it was 300 years later. It was way in the future, so it wasn't like right after.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well, you've gone 2 weekends in a row, right?
yeah. I saw
Oh
Challenger.
boy,
Yeah,
I did not like Challengers at all.
I didn't either.
I did not like it. I
There
did
was a
not like
lot
it.
more.
Yeah, it was the
I
ending
think
was not satisfying. I didn't like
no.
how it was
Yeah,
shot. Those scenes where it felt like the ball was coming at the camera the whole time.
hurt my
I
head a
didn't like.
little.
Yeah, well, it's funny. You see that thing at the beginning that what they say, beware of flashing things. Those are visual. And I thought, I've never had to worry about that. They were totally right with this one. It was
Yeah.
distracting. It was shot terribly. I didn't like it at all.
I thought the ending was very unlike. I don't even know what happened really. It was very weird, and I think the
It was
characters.
unsatisfying.
Yeah, the characters were so toxic for me. It was hard for me to like.
Yep,
Like
all
my
three of them.
like I
There was
and just
there was no good guy.
there was no winning in that movie for anyone. Let's
No.
be honest. And I thought
Even-
it was weird for Zendaya to take that role because I don't think it was like I don't know. It made her look kind of bad and like that wasn't a script where I'd think that she would like need to take that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, but I don't know. I mean, she seems like she's
It might
doing
have been
fine.
one of those ones where she was contractually obligated from 10
Yeah.
years ago. You know what I mean?
It just seemed like a weird choice for her because it's so like I don't know. It's completely different.
It didn't
and it's
fit. Yeah,
No.
It didn't fit for what we're used to seeing her. And she wasn't like her acting wasn't terrible by any stretch. It was just
I thought she was the best actor. Like I thought
Yeah.
she kind of carried a little bit. Yeah.
the plot was just like you say. It was like everybody was like I didn't want to root for anybody by the end, and I want something to pull for.
Yeah.
In most movies, there's like a good guy, bad guy. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
I want him. But they were all three toxic, and with that plot, it's just hard to kind of, it's just hard for that plot. It's just such a captivating like thing. So
And I'm not the biggest tennis fan, so
no, but it wasn't even like a tennis
No.
movie necessarily. I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't say it was more a character study, which
yeah.
I don't know.
Jay, he's a Lasso fan too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I'm watching it again now because we're going to have Marnie on at some point to talk about her book. So I've been watching that again.
yeah, that's a good one.
And
I
speaking
got
of
her on it.
Yeah, you did. You've got me on lots of
I
things.
have.
And speaking of music in shows, Kathy, as I'm rewatching Ted Lasso, and I'm watching the credits to like pay attention to stuff, Marcus Mumford does the theme song to Ted Lasso.
Marty loves that song. And I hit skip every time and it gets so
I
mad.
do too, because I just want to hurry up and get to the juicy
I'm like,
stuff.
come on. He's like, I like the song. I'm like, how many times do you have to hear it?
Good song. I like it.
The blue chairs and the red chairs. I'm
Yep.
like, nope.
And he's yeah. I'm with you, Kathy. I fast forward not because I don't like the song. The song's fine. I just want to hurry up and get to what I want to watch.
You got any you should watch still?
Some shows
Yeah.
you should watch.
No, and that for us. And any recommendation?
I'm a movie guy. I watch every show I watch. I think everyone's like Stranger Things,
People
Outer
watch it.
Banks.
All right, what's the
Obviously.
movie we need to watch?
Movie?
What's the
That's a great question. I mean, where to begin, really? There's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question to ask because, like, I don't know. That's a hard one. You kind of stumped me there. I watch a lot of, like, just popular movies, like pretty mainstream movies. You know, so, like, every year I rewatch the Pixar and obviously Star Wars and all that, so. But I don't know. Off the top of my head. You know, yeah, I don't know. I watch a lot of Gosling movies and some Jake Gyllenhaal movies. Those are my two guys.
Yeah.
You got a lot of fans there.
The Fall Guy, Dylan's pretty good.
I wanted to see that.
It's actually worth seeing. That's another one that's got some good music in it.
The two movies that I saw at the theaters weren't the ones I was going to go see originally. So I was going to see that one because I watch a lot of Gosling just because he's great in everything he does, I think. And
yeah, him and Emily Blunt are really good together in this one. It's like a tribute to stunt workers. So it's worth seeing. That was a pleasant surprise. Whereas the Challengers, I didn't like. This one I liked more than I thought. So that's the one I recommend. That one.
No, there was at least when I left the theaters after seeing Challengers, there was just like you could name any movie to me, and I'd say that movie's better than Challengers.
Yeah,
it was just like it was a tough one. But yeah, The Fall Guy, that's the one I want to see. Yeah. So
Well, I'll tell you a little tidbit, Dylan, is this is gonna age me, but I babysat for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Did you really?
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
When I was working for Spielberg, his parents were writer-directors on projects that we had at Amblin, and they would bring him to all their meetings with Steven, and I would be the one. I never went to their house necessarily and babysat for him, but he would be dropped off with me, and we would get on the golf carts and ride around the back lot and just be entertained for like 2, 3, 4 hours. And I had duty for Jake duty, which was so fun because he was so nice.
You could have shaped his career, Liza.
I'm sure I was an encouraging voice. I'm sure I was.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal he's probably my number one.
Yeah.
I think but Gyllenhaal. I think Gyllenhaal's best movie Southpaw. If you've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That movie's unbelievable.
Now, how is he? Is he in the new Roadhouse movie?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, see, I've heard some backlash about that because it doesn't really. There's some tidbits that kind of connected to the original, but not really. It's a totally different theme kind of movie.
Yeah. I didn't love it as a sequel or a remake or whatever.
I think your brother agreed with you, Liza. I think he talked about that.
Yeah, we love the original one of that, but it was not gritty enough, or it was silly. But it was funny because I think he did say something about that's when you add in those elements that like AI decided all those elements, and we were like, yep, let's throw this together and see what happens.
He made it sound like it was very light. It was kind of more comedic. It kind of leaned towards comedic versus raw and like confrontational kind of thing.
Yeah, not enough kind of depth and character for sure. Yeah.
That's funny though. I thought because I watched the Roadhouse, the new one with Gyllenhaal, and I loved it. But like I also went into it like expecting like it's gonna be kind of light, like just like I don't know. I didn't expect it to be like plot driven, like just a thick character. I just kind of took it for what it was. And then like 2 days after I watched the old one with Swayze, and I just thought that movie was really slow. I don't know. It was just a lot more about like his relationship with the one girl, and
Yeah.
Sam Elliott's character, and the action was good. But I thought this new one was kind of fresh, a lot of action. I'm also kind of biased though, because like Gyllenhaal is my guy, and
Yeah.
Conor McGregor's my guy.
Yeah, you can't really
Watching him in
fail with
the
those
UFC
two.
and that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, they're both good. It's all What a
They're
great job that.
different. That's kind of definitely telling about the pace that your age versus our age of, when you look back at a lot of those movies in the old days, like how they were so much slower probably than what we're all used to now, attention span.
Well, it's
Yeah,
funny,
definitely.
probably visually, and I will watch Roadhouse at some point because it keeps popping up on my streaming suggestion list. So
Mhm.
I'll watch it at some point. But I know with like Liza, you and I were talking about the most recent Planet of the Apes movie and how if I look back visually at the 1968 original version of Planet of the Apes, it looks kind of cheap and cheesy visually because the technology is so advanced now. So I'm just wondering if the new Roadhouse with the cameras being better and just just technology being better visually, it kind of lends to having a brighter, cleaner look versus back then.
Yeah, it definitely does that. It's definitely brighter and action and all sorts of positive things as well. It's just different.
I thought it was cool how they shot the action in the new one. There's a lot of like up close, like kind of fast paced, like almost like you're like standing next to him shots, or like, which I thought was different, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't know, they're definitely
It was
different.
intense, man.
It was a little. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all lighthearted, but yeah,
Lighthearted.
it's definitely more fast paced than the other one for sure. Which I think again, the younger generation,
Yeah.
that might be more targeting towards them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the 80s movies are very slower and more, I feel like, character based, where this is more like we're just going to throw punches and break some stuff and light stuff on fire.
Yeah. Totally.
Car
It was
chases,
super satisfying in that way, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so Liza and Kathy, I got a list of names here,
All
and
right.
I want to see if you guys
Thank you.
can see
Thank
them.
you.
Thank you. I want to see if you guys can connect these and see what these recording artists have in common.
I got no more guest hosts.
All right,
They're good though, aren't they? These kids are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
Apparently, the TV is our babysitter.
All right, so check out these names, guys, and tell me what connects these recording artists.
I'm gonna fail at this.
No, it's not a hard one. Adele, Billie Eilish, Sam Smith, Chris Cornell, Tom Jones, Madonna, Duran Duran, Aha, Paul McCartney, Garbage, Sheena Easton, Sheryl Crow, Gladys Knight, Tina Turner, Rita Coolidge, and Carly Simon.
What's the question?
What do all those recording artists have in common when it comes to movies?
Is this like an obvious one? Like they're all in a movie?
It's fairly obvious.
They all won Best Song in a Movie.
No, two of them did.
Hmm.
So they all either did the theme song or did a song for the James Bond franchise.
Wow. All of them?
And
Wow.
And Adele and Billie Eilish just 2 years ago, because she's won back-to-back years for Best Song. Billie Eilish won it 2 years ago, and then Adele won 4 or 5 years ago. Best Song. They have all done like, to me, I'm a big James Bond fan. I'm James Bond like Kathy, you are with Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
So like the iconic theme song to James Bond, all of those most of those did the theme song for that movie they did, or a significant song within the movie.
Okay, I could definitely binge some James Bond.
And and the most recent version with his name's escaping me. Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The last five are his, they call his versions, have been the best ever. And what they did was, and I didn't realize this when they first started this series of movies, was it was like an alternate universe of James Bond. It wasn't piggybacking off of any other previous James Bonds. They did a completely different version, and it fantastic.
I'm gonna watch those. I loved them when I was younger, and I haven't watched the recent ones really.
Yeah, they're the best. Like they're so good because they really get down and dirty with why he is the way he is, the womanizer, the distant kind of guy, and then he kind of evolves within these 5 movies and falls in love for the first time, and then falls in love for a second time, and without giving too much away, the past 5 of Daniel Craig are the best easily.
He's been in 5.
He's been in 5. He's done. He's so the next James Bond they do is going to have a different James Bond character. And that's like the big thing. Everybody's like putting their 2 cents into who's going to be the next.
Who should be it next?
And he's
Wow.
likely going to be a British actor. So like Idris Elba has been brought up, and a couple others, and
Yes.
yeah. So that's like the next big thing is who's going to be the next James Bond. They even said that let a woman be James Bond because James Bond is 007. That's his agent number. So anybody can in theory be 007. So they've even brought up letting a woman be 007.
Oh yeah, that makes sense too.
Jill Bond.
Yeah. Oh,
So
do you
real
guys
quick-
ever watch those the Kingsman's movies?
Yes.
I kind of like those myself. That style.
Yeah, and there was that director did I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. Bryce Dallas Howard was the lead character. She was a spy. John Cena was in it. Dua Lipa was in it. Samuel L. Jackson. Same director, so it looks just like it, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Sam Jackson.
Yeah, he's in that too. I can't remember the name of it, but that's been very recent, like within the past 2 or 3 months that came out. Same director, so you can't miss that. Yeah, you can't miss that. It's the same theme and same lighthearted look at spies and that.
Yes.
Here, I got a question for you, Liza. What about Christmas movies? I mean, Christmas movies are interesting because, I mean, if your families are like mine, okay, what are the top 3 Christmas movies? And they've shifted a little for me as I've gotten older, but it seems like they've got to be hard to make because either they're gonna be really popular, like Elf, or
I don't know.
Oh gosh, I did it right. His favorite.
Oh gosh, I can't stand Elf.
I know. But I would think that either they're gonna make it or they're really not gonna make it. But it's got to be an interesting track to get in. Is to how do you make a relevant current movie that's gonna stand the test of time?
Yeah.
Those are definitely hard when you're picking a theme like that, where it has to hit certain buttons. Like Christmas movies have to be something where all the family goes to around the holidays. They're either trying to escape each other, or so it's either making fun of families, or they're just the big sentimental things. But they're hard to hit because there's always the Hallmark movies, so you can't be anything like that if you're going to be theatrical.
Which we're going to have. Yeah. Jill, we got July coming up, right?
Yep. But it's funny, I don't know that there's very many specific Christmas movies made anymore. There might be a movie that happens to take place during Christmas,
right?
But it's not a directly Christmas themed movie.
But like in our house, it's a very purposeful thing. Where like we try to be pretty traditional with that, where we're not watching them. Back when we were kids, you got it one time, and you better know when it was coming on.
Yep.
So we have them all the time, but we
all
still don't.
All the animated. Yep.
Like that. But from Thanksgiving on, we're plotting them out, and there's certain ones where you no, you can only watch that in the week of Christmas. You cannot pull that out early.
Yes. It's true. We just stick with a lot of the reruns. I mean, honestly, the traditional old stuff is what brings back so much nostalgia. Even our kids want to just watch, some of the old ones, even if it goes back to some of the animated films.
Oh,
We
yeah.
watch them during the season. You know, we love the Grinch stuff,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. It's just the only time you will rewatch those, you know?
You know, one of our favorites is Daddy's Home 2. Have you guys seen that one?
I don't know if I've
I
seen
don't know if I've
it.
seen that.
Oh my gosh. Because there's obviously Daddy's Home 2. There was a first. I don't know if you saw the first one, but the second one is Christmas themed. And we crack up.
Is that
over
Mark
that.
Wahlberg?
Yes.
Yep,
Oh,
I have seen it. I'm
okay.
sorry. And John
Okay.
Cena's in it.
And Cena's in it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love those. Yes,
And
yes.
it's just funny. I mean, we find it hilarious.
Those are
Is it
very
Will
fun.
Ferrell?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I have seen it. Okay, it's coming back to me.
Those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
great. Definitely great.
Yeah, I like the second one better than the first one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We love that movie.
Oh, that's so funny. I have to watch that again.
And Fred Claus. I was a late one to Fred Claus.
I'm
Yeah,
still
I
a
actually
Chevy
like that one.
Chase.
And one of the elves is in Ted Lasso.
Ah, got you.
Yeah.
So real quick, ladies, before we go, what are some like iconic musical moments in movies?
I thought you were going to ask our favorite soundtrack.
That was me too. I was more ready for
Yeah, we'll do that too. Either or both.
I'm just gonna first thing that pops in my head, the Shake Shack, Sandy and Danny.
Yep. Yep.
Right? The one that I
At
want.
the end, yeah.
Oh, yes. Grease, of course.
You know, where they're bopping back and forth. I'm like, yes. And you just want to be Sandy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was the Hopelessly Devoted to You
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
There's that Say Anything scene when John Cusack puts the boombox up and plays Peter
Yep.
Gabriel. Like that's got to be on everybody's top 10.
Definitely. I was just looking at that today. Love that.
And there's kind of a sleeper for me. Is there was a movie called She's All That with Rachel Lee Cook, and she does this scene where she's kind of like the nerdy girl who does this makeover, and when she's made over, she walks down the steps in this red dress, and it's the song "Kiss Me" by Sixpence None the Richer. That's like, if I happen to catch that movie on, I'll try to see if that scene specifically is playing.
Yeah.
Like it's like so, and she's done this. She's made over. She's walking under this song, and all of a sudden, then she trips. So they break it with comedy. They have this like, oh, she's this swan, this beautiful swan now, and then she trips and falls like the nerdy girl that she always was.
Oh. I remember making some notes here about some of these that come to mind that I just love so much, like Unchained Melody and Ghost. Reality Bites. For me, that was a big 90s film. And I loved that U2 song. Was it All I Want Is You? That was like a big, like, I want that moment. I want to remember that moment.
What was that? I'm trying to think of the big song that was, there's a song in that movie, but I can't remember what it is. It'll come to me later on when I'm not trying to think of it.
Yep. Officer and a Gentleman, Up Where We Belong at the end. Like, that's a moment for me at the end I love. Of course, Top Gun, Dirty Dancing had some great stuff.
The Breakfast Club at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ferris Bueller.
Yep.
Some memorable songs that in those days of making our soundtracks of our lives, we probably could take our own ages, and certain songs or certain movies would be like, when I was 10, that was the one. When I was 15, that was the one. When I was 20. And
So true.
You know, remember those scenes or those moments in our own lives. You know?
So true. I think that, again, I go back to Guardians. I think that's why I like Guardians so much. I mean, I think, Jay, you and I have had this conversation. I don't think you can pinpoint scenes to the songs, but I guess I've watched them so many times with kids.
Yeah. Well, Rubber Band Man, I remember that scene because it's something about that song. It's just like tap your toes, and it's like, and they're all singing. They're all in the ship, and they're all like lip syncing the song together, whether they're flying wherever they're flying to. Yeah.
So many good songs.
But you gotta watch, Kathy. You gotta watch Ready Player One. It's all like the whole movie is 80s music, and it's very like video game esque, they're actually living in AI CG. They're playing avatars in this movie, but there's a story that they kind of cross over between real life and the video game, and they're trying to defeat this evil guy who's trying to take over like the video game world, and so they're playing all these '80s music in the background. That's one of my favorite pleasant surprise movies I've ever seen. Where I went into it thinking, oh, I don't have anything else to watch. I'll watch this, and I was like so pleasantly surprised and shocked, not just by the movie but the music. And like halfway through, I was like, man, this is like really cool music, and it just adds to it because they're playing in this video game the whole time. So like they have these tasks at each step of the way, and there's a song that goes with each step. You've got to watch it. Your boys will love it if they haven't seen it.
Huh.
They will.
Yeah.
And I have one rom-com to leave you with that picked up a favorite song of mine from the world, it was already out in the world, and then put it into a film. And I was so grateful. It made me feel like everybody loves that song, the song is Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Such a great song in the world. I used to play it for people when I was teaching creative writing or coaching, field hockey or whatever. And finally it made it into a film right now.
Yeah.
Anyone But You.
Sidney Sweeney's movie, yes.
It was
Yeah.
fun how they used that.
That's the character. That's his hype song.
Yes, I thought that was a clever, perfect, like a new
Glenn Powell's character. That's his hype song that he sings to himself to get himself out of a situation. Yeah.
I was happy to see that happen.
And they sang that on one of the award shows recently. The two of them got up and they started singing it.
Yeah.
And then Natasha Bedingfield came out and sang the rest of the song. Yeah.
See, there's a perfect marriage of it coming full circle after years of time and still being, really connecting people.
A soundtrack we forgot? 13 Going on 30.
Yes. The Michael Jackson dance.
It's got, Thriller's in it.
Thriller dance, yeah.
Rick Springfield's in it, Jesse's
Oh,
Girl.
you know you love him.
That's a good soundtrack. Billy Joel's on it.
Oh, wow.
Footloose. Footloose is a really good one.
Oh, of course, yes. Yep.
Look up the soundtrack to 13 Going on 30. You'll be surprised. There's a lot on that.
I'll have to go see that or rent it or whatever you did.
I remember back in the day when you would buy a soundtrack.
Oh, no, right, Liza? You've seen the movie.
I haven't seen 13 Going on 30.
Oh, it's so good. It's really good.
I can't believe it.
No,
I feel like you need to go watch it tonight. I cannot believe
going to. I'm in the mood now to go watch
Oh
that.
my
It sounds perfect.
I love that movie.
And that's another great casting decision.
Yes.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah.
Wait, what's our other? It's what's the guy? Yeah, Jennifer Garner's amazing. What's the boy?
Can't believe
Who's the guy?
I'm trying to remember.
It's not.
Oh, it's not Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, it is. It's a young Mark.
Yep.
It is.
Yes. That's where they must have met. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They would be so cute in a movie together like that.
It's very like Freaky Friday-esque. The trading, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna love it. I can't wait. Perfect.
Music's great. The storyline's great. I cannot believe. I need to hear what you think about that movie.
Yeah,
I can't.
when she does the thriller dance, she does the whole choreographed thriller dance. That's an iconic scene from that.
Adorable. Adorable.
So it means it's adorable when she does it terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she's so like her younger self is so awkward and nerdy and uncomfortable, and she's a 30-year-old woman now, and she's trying to
Oh,
But
I
she
can't
does
wait. I'll watch that next.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy now. I'm
Good.
content.
So each of you have homework. Kathy's got to watch Ready Player One. Liza's got to watch 13
Ready, Red, something.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
So what are you watching, Jay?
I don't know. I'm going to finish watching Ted Lasso. I'm on like the last 3 episodes of the whole series.
I'm thinking you and Dylan could be like Siskel and Ebert. I think you and Dylan have something.
You have 2 different generations of movie critiques.
That would be really good, actually.
He's so funny. He's so funny. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting me come on.
Thanks, guys.
We love having you, Liza. You're so fun.
Yeah, she'll be back again in a month or so. Now, Liza, when we sign off, wait for your screen to say it's okay to leave the studio. Stay on screen until it says it'll give you a green check and it'll tell you when to go.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and check us out next time on Easter Short Talk. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.